before they even know your name, before you've finished your first sentence. Sometimes people have already decided they like you. Strange, isn't it? You've probably experienced it yourself. You meet someone for the first time and within moments the conversation feels effortless. It feels like you've known them for years. Then you meet someone else who seems perfectly nice on paper, yet something just doesn't click. It's almost unfair. We like to believe we judge people logically. We tell ourselves we need time to get to know someone. But psychology tells a different story. Our brains begin forming first impressions in seconds, using tiny signals we hardly notice: your smile, your voice, your posture, even the way you react when something unexpected happens. So why do some people seem instantly likable without trying? Is it confidence? Good looks? Luck? Not exactly. The real answer is far more fascinating. And by the end of this video, you might discover that the people everyone naturally likes aren't doing what you think they're doing. In fact, you may even recognize some of these patterns in yourself. Picture yourself walking into a small gathering where you don't know anyone. You're introduced to someone who greets you with a relaxed smile, speaks calmly, and somehow matches your energy without making it obvious. Within a few minutes, the conversation feels surprisingly comfortable. Nothing extraordinary happened. There were no amazing jokes or dramatic stories. Yet your brain quietly decided, I like this person. One reason is something psychologists often describe as familiarity. Our minds naturally trust things that feel familiar. And familiar doesn't necessarily mean you've met someone before. It means their expressions, tone, and behavior remind your brain of people you've already learned to associate with safety and comfort. Maybe they naturally speak at a pace similar to yours. Maybe they mirror your enthusiasm just enough that it feels effortless. Maybe they laugh when you laugh or pause when you pause. They're not copying you. They're communicating something much deeper. Without saying a word, we're alike. Your brain loves hearing that message because, from an evolutionary perspective, people who felt familiar were often safer than people who seemed unpredictable. Think about someone you instantly connected with. Was it because they were incredibly impressive? Or was it because you simply felt relaxed around them? Sometimes comfort is more powerful than charisma. Then there's another kind of person. Imagine you're telling a story, and instead of waiting impatiently for their turn to speak, they genuinely pay attention. They remember your name. They ask about something you mentioned 5 minutes ago. They make you feel like your words actually matter. Here's what's interesting. Most people believe being likable means becoming more entertaining, but often, it's the opposite. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel seen. Every conversation carries a silent question beneath the surface. Do I matter to this person? When someone answers that question with genuine attention, your brain rewards the interaction. You feel understood, valued, comfortable. Ironically, these listeners often leave conversations believing they didn't say very much. Meanwhile, everyone else walks away thinking they're fascinating. That's because people don't always remember exactly what you said. They remember how you made them feel. Maybe you've noticed this before. Someone asks one thoughtful question, and suddenly you've been talking for 20 minutes without realizing it. You leave, smiling, not because they impressed you, because they made you feel important. Now imagine two people walking into the same room. The first spends every moment trying to prove how intelligent they are. They mention achievements, correct small mistakes, and constantly demonstrate what they know. The second simply smiles, makes people comfortable, and creates an atmosphere where nobody feels judged. Which person do you think people usually warm up to first? Psychology has a surprisingly consistent answer. Before our brains decide whether someone is competent, they usually decide whether they're safe. Warmth comes before brilliance. That doesn't mean intelligence isn't valuable. Of course it is. But when meeting someone for the first time, your brain is asking a much older question. Is this person friend or threat? A relaxed posture, gentle eye contact, a genuine smile, a calm voice. These tiny signals tell your nervous system that it's okay to relax. That's why someone who isn't the smartest person in the room can still become everyone's favorite, because people enjoy feeling comfortable, far more than feeling intimidated. And here's something even more surprising. Sometimes, making a tiny mistake actually makes people like you. More sounds backwards, doesn't it? Imagine someone confidently giving a presentation. Everything is going smoothly until they accidentally click the wrong slide. They pause, laugh, say, "Well, that wasn't the plan." The room laughs with them. Instead of losing respect, they often become even more likable. Psychologists call this the pratfall effect. When someone already appears capable, a small, harmless mistake reminds everyone they're human. Perfection can create distance. Authenticity creates connection. Of course, nobody enjoys watching someone completely fall apart, but small imperfections can make people feel surprisingly approachable. Think about your favorite friend. They're probably not perfect. They forget things, say something awkward once in a while, laugh at themselves, and somehow that makes them easier to love because perfection is impressive. Humanity is memorable. But perhaps the biggest secret has nothing to do with confidence, conversation skills, or body language. It has everything to do with emotion. Sometimes we think we like someone because of who they are. In reality, we often like them because of who we become when we're around them. Some people leave you feeling anxious, others leave you feeling judged. Others make you feel like you're constantly competing. Then, there are those rare people who leave you feeling lighter, more interesting, more relaxed, more yourself. Your brain remembers those feelings, quietly connects those emotions with that person, so the next time you see them, your mind already expects another positive experience. That's one of the strongest foundations of instant likability. Not making yourself look amazing. Making other people feel good without pretending, without competing, without constantly needing attention, just by creating an interaction that feels emotionally safe. When you step back and look at all these patterns together, something interesting appears. The people who are instantly liked aren't always the loudest. They aren't always the funniest. They aren't always the most attractive. More often, they're the people who make others feel comfortable, understood, accepted, and relaxed. Their secret isn't performance, it's presence. And maybe that's why first impressions are so powerful. They're rarely about what we consciously notice. They're about hundreds of tiny signals working together beneath awareness. Smile that's genuine, a voice that's calm, a willingness to listen, a small imperfection that makes someone feel real, an interaction that leaves another person feeling just a little better than before. So here's something worth thinking about. When people meet you for the first time, what feeling do they leave with? Do they feel comfortable, heard, accepted, or do they feel like they had to prove something? Maybe that's the real psychology behind first impressions. Not convincing people to like you, but giving them a reason to enjoy being themselves around you. Which part stood out to you the most? Have you ever met someone you instantly liked without knowing why? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring the hidden psychology behind everyday human behavior, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for more fascinating insights into the human mind.